Hello my little stars, I'm so sorry for the delay in getting these videos up. A lot of stuff happened and I got sick again. Yay. That being said, 10 likes on this video and you will be guaranteed another Siren Call video either when I find something new to cover in it or when it gets an update. That being said, we've got a lot to cover in this one. There are some scenes which weren't included in the original run through I did that actually do impact how you view certain bad endings and other scenes throughout, and also it does change your opinion about some characters and solves a little bit more mysteries that we didn't really get solved during the first run through. And on top of that, right at the end, I will be covering a special post that was made up on the Tumblr about a Siren Call that I really think you guys should see. So how this is structured is warning first, then we'll get into the scenes I missed, and then we'll cover the post. Remember, 10 likes on this video and you will 100% get another Siren Call when I find something new or when the game gets updated. So see you then. This is a 15+ game, a lower rating than If Mafia Fell, and this is a romance horror, so keep that in mind. If that already is not your cup of tea, you're not going to want to watch this. Right, gonna go through the warnings. So the first warning is an animal death. This by here, the only animal that does die during this, it is, you get offered a seal carcass after the siren is told that you haven't been eating. And since he's already quite fond of you at this point, he decides to get you food. And that's pretty much all that is. Altered state. Siren Call causes loss of control over body and choices. Which makes sense. It's more to do with the bad endings. And it's also to help build trust between you and the siren. And on top of that, you've also got an implied drug use when it comes to like the other form he has. Again, you were warned about this, but since I've got to hold people's hands from time to time, I'm going to have to go into more detail. Assault, because humanity is stupid in this and automatically jump the gun and think that you've done stuff, so they decide to beat you up for it. Bad endings, there's 9 in total, meaning I've got a lot to find. Bullying, because the humans for some freaking reason feel the need to pick on you at every freaking turn. Death, because it's an Undertale game, why wouldn't there be death? Gore, if you've seen If Mafia Fell, you know what you're expecting. It gets pretty graphic, okay? Gun violence. Again, if you've seen If Mafia Fell, then this is no, like, difference. And also, the gun violence, it's not really something you directly see. You get to read about the aftermaths, okay? Kidnapping. Because why wouldn't I get kidnapped from time to time? Or other people? This is misogyny, which means a hate for women, so yeah, take it however you will. Murder, because again, it's in Mafia. If you've seen If Mafia Fell, you know what to expect. And also, it's an Undertale game, why wouldn't there be murder? Obsession, because we're dealing with a yandere siren. Profanity, because why wouldn't there be? Racism, because humanity's always got an issue with anything that's different, be it freaking monsters or beasts. Skeletons, because skeletons, very bad endings. Yes, you can actually get eaten in this one. Violence, because again, this is one of those type of games. And on top of that, it does contain swearing. Including myself does accidentally swear from time to time because I honestly get so invested in this game that it just slips out. But don't worry, I've gone ahead and edited out as much as I can of the swearing. So that way then you don't hear me accidentally let it slip. So, yeah. That being said, if you're uncomfortable with any of those themes, and you technically also got spoiled a little bit of what this is about, then don't freaking watch, okay? You've been warned. Don't watch stuff you're not gonna like, plain and simply, and don't complain about it when you've been given the warnings ahead of time, okay? I don't want to have to constantly babysit people and hold their hands all the way through videos, alright? That's not my job. The warning's in place. It is 15+, a horror romance, mostly focusing on the cutesy horror aspects, but it's about an extremely yandere siren skeleton who becomes obsessed with you, alright? Are we all good? If people are okay to go ahead, off you go. Everybody else, leave. It's just not for you, okay? This warning will be put on each of the videos going forward that contain any of the following. Alright, good, fantastic, great, wonderful. Off we go. Hello my little stars and welcome back to If Siren Call. Today we're taking a look at some scenes that I did not actually feature in my original playthrough. These scenes I am currently showing right now technically do have a big impact when it comes to actually getting one of the bad endings. One or two of them. Because it would make sense as to why MC's acting the way they do during certain options. Like, for example, had I known what we're about to learn, it definitely would make more sense why MC would withdraw a lot more from Sans, realizing that he most likely is possibly the killer. So, where is this scene in the story? Simply, you've actually met Sans for the first time, and Dr. Greenberg has already gone missing. You come back after meeting with him, and pretty much you get to do 3 different activities. Go to the kitchen and meet the 3 Stooges, just work on some stuff, or go and call Daddy Gaster, aka Gaster. So instead of going to the kitchen or going to call with Dr. Gaster, I decided to mess with some things on the side first to help with like adjusting the machine out in the wilderness outside, aka out in the Arctic. And I actually got the message that shows you what's become of Dr. Greenberg. So now we're going to call with Dad, and his actual dialogue changes because we actually have information to give him. When I first did this, I didn't get the message until after I'd been in a call already with Dr. Gaster. This time around, I actually got to see what became of Dr. Greenberg beforehand. So let's see what Dad has to say about what became of Dr. Greenberg's body. Haha. Okay, let's see it. Video call with Dr. Gaster. It's good to check in on him. You move your laptop so you can sit on your bed and relax while you chat with him. He answers on the 3rd call. Hello, Twinkle, he signs. How are you? How are you? That's a good question. You aren't close to the director and you weren't fond of him. You wouldn't want to wish him dead. I would. However, and you acknowledge that a family is now missing a husband and a grandfather. Oh, such a shame. Death is a part of life and it touches everyone. Honestly, we're more unsettled that he died near your equipment and apparently in a manner that may have not been an accident. Let's talk to Dr. Gaster and tell him how exactly he died. I don't know, you answer honestly. Director Greenberg died last night. Dr. Gaster sits up sharply at that. What happened? I'm not sure, you say. You explain what you know so far. Do you want to come home? He asks you. Do you feel unsafe? I love how Dad is just straight on the ball. Dad most activated like, oh no, my baby might be in danger. Quick, offer her to come home. Come home now, sweetie. It's fine. Drop everything. Nothing is worth your life. Come back home. Unnerved, I think, you admit. I don't know why he was out there. Greedy to see our work. You're right, Dad. Always greedy, stingy Greenberg. Suggested Dr. Gaster. Why else sneaking out at night when you're not there? Dr. Gaster? No. Dad has every right to assume that this sleazy man was being nosy. And he was throwing shade. So Dad's perfectly in the right there. He shrugs. There might be a good reason, but as it stands, that's a very suspect thing to do. I grant you that it's strange, but it's poor to speak ill of the dead. It wasn't like he was a saint alive. You gently reminded him, he could have been out there for his own research and mistook my station for one of his students. I highly doubt it. The man's not blind. He could have been called out there too. Have you seen the body? Do you know why they think it's unlikely to be an accident? I have seen a picture. See, the dialogue has changed here. Before she hadn't seen the body, but now she has. So I'm really curious as to what Dr. Gaster is going to say. You admit to him. I can show it to you if you want. Oh, what? She actually shows it to him. Oh, no. Dr. Gaster nods, and you take a screenshot of the picture and send it to him. He looks over the image with critical eye. This was an attack, he signs. Something grabbed his leg. See, I knew it. Sans grabbed the leg and yanked him down. But of course we know that from Sans' point of view he did too, so. But what, you ask? Anything strong with claws would do, he signs. Twinkle, maybe you should come home. I think it's too unsafe for you now. Go, Dad! Go, Dad! Go, Dad! Dad instincts kicking in. Look at Dad. Dad prioritizing our safety, and our characters still not want to go home. No, you want to stay here. Well, they aren't very polite. No one has made me feel unsafe. Speak for yourself, MC. Speak for your freaking self. His eyelids turned to slits. Are they being rude to you? They're going to be more than rude. They're going to beat her to a pulp, Dad. No more than any other pompous scientist. You assure him with a smile. Everyone likes to underestimate me for my age. I get it. That's no excuse. Yeah, it doesn't matter what your freaking age is. They'll still beat the poop out of you later. I know, but it's not going to change until they see for themselves. What I can do, you say, doesn't freaking matter. They never see what you're doing, do they? Because they end up dead. Dr. Guster huffs. He fiddles with his hands as he gives you a concerned look. He doesn't sign for several long seconds. I trust your judgment, but I have a right to hold a petty grudge against them for the rest of their lives. As small as that life is, as we all know, it's a very small window of opportunity, and they're gone. You laugh at that. You and Dr. Gaster talk comfortably for another hour. He doesn't press the issue once you made your stance, and you appreciate that. Your stomach rumbles loudly and you know it's time to grab some food before you head to bed. So, there is actually a different scene that takes place in the kitchen as well. But if you notice that, he makes it clear that something that's strong with sharp claws. So this would explain why in some of the bad endings, why she withdraws after seeing his claws. It didn't fully make sense to me because she had held his hand prior. So I am curious, you know, if I had that scene, it would have made sense. But I already knew it was probably Sans from the get-go. You just had that feeling it was him. He's also the only Siren and the only one with strength enough to, like, you know, kill a person. But I still want to know how the Three Stooges meant their dumb ends. Would love to see how those three deaded. I hate those Three Stooges with a passion. Anyway, let's go to the kitchen. Let's go check on the Three Stooges. You scratch the back of your head as you walk down the stairs from your suite. You go down the hallway and exit into the private wing common room. The kitchen for this area are on the left, and you hear people inside. Stepping into the kitchen, you are immediately noticed by Dr. Field, Dr. Red, and Dr. Kim. The three of them are crowded around a stovepot and stop talking once they notice you. There's a sick, prickly tension in the eyes if they're getting out their pitchforks ready to freaking murder you. Every inch of their body language and faces reads as, "You're not welcome here." Oh, shut up. You ignore them. You go to the cabinet to grab a quick meal to heat up, and you can eat in your room and continue to watch the crime series. You made it to the micro when you heard, "Hey." You turn your head and Dr. Red has approached you. Her arms are folded across her chest. "What do you study?" "I research magic," you say. "And your equipment out there is for that?" she asks. "Yes," you say. "Dr. Gaster and I are studying the effects magical storms have on the Aurora Australis. A storm is supposed to be gathering in the area over the next week." She sighs through her nose. "Is it something you were working jointly with Greenberg?" "No. Absolutely freaking not. That man couldn't work a freaking pencil sharpener as far as I'm concerned. Maybe he probably could, but I have no evidence to support it, so as far as I'm concerned, he couldn't even work a pencil sharpener." Sorry, I'm so mean to them. "He didn't seem very interested when I explained to him, so I'm surprised you are to know he was in that area." Dr. Field walks over to the both of you. His hands are shoved in his lab coat pockets. "And you didn't set up any magic traps?" "I can't, you stress. Does she look like she's smart enough to do any of that?" "I'm not a mage. Dr. Gus and I did not think we would need to prepare safeguards against her work, so I wouldn't have anything ready to set up against the machine either." A pause. "Was it your group that found him, you ask?" Quietly thinking of the picture. "And if it was?" "Oh, it was these three? Ooh. Oh, who was it? Oh, MC calls them out. Oh, this is interesting. MC actually asks them. "Whoever sent me the picture, I don't appreciate being threatened," you say. Oh, she didn't do that, see, in my playthrough. She never called out anyone. It was these three. One of these little Three Stooges had it. Which one was it? Which one was you little shits? "Picture?" Dr. Red asks sharply. "What picture?" Dr. Kim inquires. He walks quietly over to you. "Someone emailed me a picture of Dr. Greenberg," you say. "They asked if I was scared." "Stars above? What the fuck?" breathes out Dr. Field. He looks enraged. His death isn't something to be fucking used in a sick joke. "Where's the email?" "In my room," you say. "I can forward it to you." "Do," he snaps. "Fucking unbelievable." "Pictures were taken?" Okay, so Dr. Red hasn't said anything, but Dr. Kim and Dr. Field, clearly Dr. Field is very upset. He did not like that. So it's definitely not him, unless he's like putting it on for show, but okay. Pictures were taken, says Dr. Kim, looking at him, but it was done to preserve the scene. You saw then? You nod. You understand why it's suspicious, he says. You nod again. All the pictures have been uploaded to a shared folder, says Dr. Red with a frown. Wait, okay, so it was James. It was James. Was it James? Am I right to throw shade at James? Who thinks it was James? I think it was James. I think it was that little shit. It was James. Was it James? Dot Pebbles, was it James? I'm just gonna ask right now, was it James? Did James send the freaking picture to me, the little shit? Everyone here is a high enough clearance to access that, she glances at you. Well, except you, since you're not technically part of the company. Wow, so any one of them in the company could have sent it? Absolutely freaking great. I have every right to throw shade at everyone. Yay! But Dr. Field definitely isn't the one. He's so freaking mad right now. Okay, so Dr. Field is not the culprit. Okay, fine. Sorry, I accused you. Whoopsie, my mistake. Dr. Field shakes his head. Absolutely disgusting. Okay, it definitely isn't him. I'm sorry, Dr. Field. Vile. Dr. Red agrees. Her eyes flicker back to you. Is there anything else you need to tell us? Okay, so by here, this probably, if I had seen this scene, it would have probably changed my opinion about them a little. And it would also make sense why in one of the endings she actually says that she cares about them. But because I never got this scene, I never felt any empathy towards these people. I feel a little bit bad now. Just a little. You give her a weary look. Like what? Anything at all, says Dr. Kim. They're still suspicious of me. Why the hell would I send a photo to myself? Then again, maybe they think I'm a serial killer, but shouldn't you guys be more scared I might kill you for being rude to me? You take a deep breath. I told Captain Saloni everything I know. The newest thing that happened to me is that email. The microwave beeps. If that is all, you say, as you take out your food, I'm leaving. You grab your food and leave. Okay, so that was interesting, because now we got confirmation that it wasn't Field, and it wasn't Red, and it doesn't appear to be Kim. It doesn't appear to be Kim either. So that leaves Brad, who I didn't get to meet that much anyway, Captain Saloni, who, why would he send that to me? It has to be James. Because I turned him down because he apparently can't take rejection, you know, like a man, I guess. Politely, like a scientist. I mean, I clearly am there for being a professional, not for, like, you know. So it was James. Are we all in agreement? Who thinks it was James then? Who do you guys actually think sent that picture of Dr. Greenbird's body to us in Siren Call? If you have an idea of who you think the culprit is, let me know down below in the comment section. And that, of course, is two scenes that I actually feel, had I seen them prior in my first run through, it would have technically affected a little bit more of how I felt about certain characters' behavior. There is one more scene we're going to take a look at, which is when I actually talked to Brad, because that will probably change my opinion on Brad as well, so I will also include that scene that I never included in the original run through. So let me go and find that scene. I will be right back. Here we are, everyone. This by here is the scene I was telling you about, where the whole vicinity is about to go on lockdown because, you know, when one person died, it's fine. We can just sweep their death under the rug and move on. But when 3 people die, bringing the total to 4, we can't ignore it anymore. That way, they're all like, quick, shut everything down. We need to get out of here. And what happened was, I went to go and tell Sans that we had no choice. We were going to leave the Arctic, aka Sans' prey was about to literally make a run for it. Sans was not actually really happy about this, but I also told him that this meant I was leaving him. He also was not happy about that, but we calmed him down and said we'd find some way to be able to stay there. So as we were going back, we were interrupted by a very, very passive-aggressive Brad, who apparently is telling me to get back inside before he drags my butt in. So, that being said, let us read the scene, shall we? Just to remind ourselves of Brad's rudeness. You don't make it very far when you notice someone. Brad, the second in command for the guards, stomps out. Phoenix! Hi, you say? Actually, good timing. I wanted to talk to you. What are you doing outside? He loudly demands. Did you not hear we were going into lockdown, or did you think you're special enough to be exempt from that? He jabs at your chest and his eyes narrow in anger. You're not! Get your ass back inside and stay inside! If I catch you so much as looking at a door before your border eyes, I'll cuff you myself! His lips curl back into a snarl. Get inside now! So, yeah, as you can tell, he's not very friendly at the moment. He's very, very aggressive. And what I originally did was just calmly walk back inside. But let's see what happens if I'd retorted that rudeness is unnecessary. Let's see actually, would my opinion of Brad changed? 4 are dead, he growls. Yes, I can count. You're giving the lip over me scolding you. You don't want to be lectured. Don't be a... Oh, how dare you use this word, sir? You should be ashamed. Follow orders and get inside. Oh, it's so freaking rude. We haven't even moved into lockdown yet, you snab. I need to get my equipment. I don't freaking care, he testily retorts. He raises his voice and screams at you. I don't trust you, none of us, to get inside or I will make you. Well, I can tell you don't trust me. None of you freaking like me. Calm the hell down, man. Oh my goodness, I would have been more pissed at this man had I actually chosen to say anything back. You flush with anger. The level of animosity and venom oozing from Brad ties your tongue. The instant need to say something back is forceful and with great difficulty shoved down. Getting into a screaming match outside will only make things worse. It doesn't matter, he dies anyway. I can see why. Probably if I got this scene, sounds blooming 100% probably heard this man scream and blow murders at me. I mean, I think even, the dead can hear him screaming. And you don't want to know what will happen when someone with a gun makes you do something. Oh, wait, he has a gun. Oh, yeah, he does, doesn't he? Oh, dear. You bite hard on your tongue and stomp past him to go inside, and you return to your room and start to pack your things. It doesn't make much time. You haven't been there long. Once everything is zipped up, you let out a long sigh. You peek out the window, but you don't see Sans anymore. You'll have to find another way to let him know. Maybe once it's dark and everyone's gone to bed, you can sneak out. You haven't eaten breakfast, but you aren't hungry. The thought of leaving your room and chancing on interaction with someone out there makes you uncomfortable. Alright, so, wow. He just says it like it is. Brad doesn't like us either. Okay, so this means technically the guards could have done it too then. Good to know. Wow. I hate him. I hate him more. How dare he use such language with me? How dare he? How dare he use that word? That is just rude. Yeah. Again. Wow. Someone was an angry potato. It's a good thing he ends up dead later then. Okay, so I went from having a scene where I actually, felt a little bit for the characters to now all of a sudden back hating this character. Okay, so had I gone these scenes, would this have changed anything about my opinion of Brad? No, because I really didn't get to interact much with Brad, so I didn't have much of an opinion. But at least now I know. Brad was an ass anyway, so it didn't really matter at the end of the day. What happened to him, at least in my books. So yeah, I don't need to feel guilty about that one. But I still want to know the context of the Three Stooges. Yes, in that scene I got with them, clearly there was concern for us. But I also want to know why they went out there. If I can learn more about the reason behind why they died, maybe that will then solidify whether or not I have a right to hate those three characters. Did they go out there to try and find evidence and they just happened to get too close to the machine and Sans automatically tried to get rid of them because, or did he try to lure them? I mean, that's a lot of people to take out at once. And at least now we got kind of a confirmation that it probably wasn't the Three Stooges that sent me that email. So, that is something. So, yeah guys. there's one more thing I want to show you. It is an actual Tumblr post by darkpetal16, where someone sent in a question involving a siren call, and I want to react to it. So, again, remember guys, 10 likes on this video and you will get another if siren call, either when I find something new to cover or when this gets an update. But I do hope you guys will stay tuned for this next part, because this next section actually is really interesting. And I hope you will agree and want to find out. So, we'll be back in a little bit. Hello, little stars. So, for today's little section here, let's take a look at a post up on Tumblr of darkpetal16. This one by here is a question we've all been wanting to know the answer to. Anonymous had asked darkpetals, question about siren call. Did Dadster ever find out why Sans skipped the courtship phase? Sans never skipped the courtship phase, to be fair. We were the one who instigated and not him. We just weren't aware at the time that we did. And that Sans was just responding, saying, yes, he did. He was interested. He fully accepted you. You were the one who skipped 2 phases, to be fair, because I'm still going to personally count you humming as singing. I don't care if you want to argue with it. You technically are making a melody with your mouth either way. So you were technically singing, and whales hum. Whales do make noises, and humming and doing things like that is how they communicate. So, I will forever state for a fact MC was the instigator and not Sans. Sans was just doing what comes natural to him. Apparently taking quite a strong interest to this weak, little, pathetic, vulnerable human that was like, hi, dangerous apex predator, be my husband. And he's like, oh my god, yes. I've been alone for so long. I'm not going to turn this down. It's not like every day someone's going to show their soul to me. So yes, let's be together. the short summary of it. Okay, so there's a couple of things I want to address about this response that darkpetal16 makes here with this, but I'll read through it first and then break it down section by section. So, darkpetal16 said, he will one day, but I haven't written that scene out, although I do have a maybe funny thought about it. So this is not guaranteed, this is just a maybe. Wingerdings rolls up a newspaper, lightly whacking MC's shoulder. What did I tell you? To be fair, at the time this courtship thing actually went down, MC literally was thinking of the exact same thing he's referring to right now. So, yeah. She was told while she was standing there presenting her soul, she was literally having a daydream, or your character was, depending on what gender you chose, was daydreaming of the exact same thing Wingerdings is talking about, which is do not present your soul in front of a siren because they could get the misunderstanding that you were asking them to be yours. You only show your soul to your family with a siren or to the one you want to mate with. And that's exactly what happened with MC. Isn't it interesting how such a small thing as wanting to use your soul as a nightlight could literally get you a husband the next second? It's so fascinating to me. Moving on. MC's response to Wingerdings obviously not being at all amused by this mere idea, smiles and says, but look, you have a son-in-law now. The fact that MC is so proud at this moment when in fact MC should know for a absolute 100% fact that Wingerdings would not be happy with this, as it took him forever to get used to you, and when he gets to meet Sans, he's only heard bits and pieces about him, and he's under the impression he's a little bit loopy, and that he's not in his right mind. And when he finally gets to meet him, Sans appears with you in his arms, you are a absolute mess after getting beaten up, and then Sans tries to leg it. To be fair, Sans is just doing what comes to his instinct, which is to get you out of a dangerous situation and get you somewhere safe. But obviously, Wingerdings is not going to let some siren that's just shown up inside his home, aka his lab, his den, his space, his territory, and just leg it with his kids. So yeah, not really the best way to introduce these two characters to each other, but that's how it went down. So... and we know that the reason why Wingerdings did, just accept it was because he does trust you, but at the same time, this is out of hand at this point. There was no stopping the train once it started going. Like he said, a mate is a mate. It doesn't matter at that point. It's been decided. You don't really have a say past that. So he had to accept Sans into his clan and made the rules that, you know, if you get caught eating, you're not taking my daughter down with you. End of story, end of discussion, okay? You're integrating, you're becoming a part of my clan. We'll make you a part of society, but if you get caught freaking eating people, you're not taking her down with you. I will absolutely deny any acknowledgement or any association with you, and I'll make sure that she's not associated with you either, so that she doesn't get dragged into your mess. So yeah, again, stuff was said. A type of respect, I guess. Sort of. An understanding, you know, a neutral truce. To which, of course, Wingerdings responds to the quite proud of herself MC, I didn't want a son-in-law, you silly child, which obviously is clear. It took him a long time to warm up to you, and least of all this Siren he's been hearing about that apparently is madly in love with you, who just chose to consider you a mate without doing all the steps, you know? He's like, he's off his hinge. I didn't want this. Why did you choose this? I didn't want this. No, I never wanted you to have to deal with this. I definitely didn't want my child at any point getting deflowered, if you chose to be capable of having a child or not. So, moving on. Imagine if I kept doing it and it happens again, says MC. My response to this is, what would actually happen if you got more than one Siren on you? Would Sans get territorial? Like, would they, like, coexist with each other? Would they get, like, a neutral, like, understanding towards each other? Because from what I understood, Sirens choose a mate and they stick with that one, right? But you're not technically a Siren. You are a human. So if other Sirens kind of beeline to you, how does it work with them? Like, do they, like, fight? Would they, like, come to a truce? How exactly would you have to, like, separate them and have them in different freaking rooms and then designate a time of day to interact with them? How would that work? And poor Wingerdings will have to be the freaking referee. Wingerdings says, are you trying to kill me? Oh, yeah, because first he means this in a way like, are you trying to give me a heart attack, child? I've already had to, like, accept this random Siren that's just come into your freaking life. You nearly died. It was a lot to take and a lot to cover up. And now you're telling me, what if it happens again? Don't you dare do it. I do not want another one of this happening. Sanson says, trying to get someone killed? Smiley face. Hey. We all know why he said that. And then at the end it says, horror and red on the horizon. ... Ooh, so what do you think? Could this be an Easter egg? Could this be a hint that we might get to see the other two? So if you don't know who Red and Horror are in this specific universe, so these two are actually other two Sirens. Red is actually a tiger shark, which I absolutely love the fact that he's a tiger shark. And then you've got Horror, who's called Skull. And he's a type of octopus. I think he's a ring. Is he the ring octopus? I don't know if he is the ringed octopus. He's one of the octopuses. And he's huge and massive, but he likes to give gifts, whereas Red is known to bite things, which is true to a tiger shark. They tend to bite things to find out if it's edible or not. Or, you know, they're also called the trash bins of the sea, or the giant puppy dogs that just like to give you a nip just to make sure. Either way, I would love to see them. I don't know if this is hinting that we might get to see more of the universe, more of, like, the world, or maybe it's going to be another game, or maybe we're going to get, like, a what-if situation, like an extra bonus where we get to see these two. I don't know, or if this was just an Easter egg. Either way, I would love to see these two, because I absolutely love, after learning about the world involving Siren Sans, and then literally going and, you know, having a look at the AU, I absolutely love the characters. I definitely am enjoying reading the stories that have been made by the creator. Definitely, absolutely loving Telecom. But I will say, I've cried 1 or 2 parts involving Sans. My wee hearts don't like quarantine with him. No, absolutely, my poor heart can't handle that. My poor heart. I find the characters adorable, though. I do find this hilariously funny, this interaction. And again, MC is naive as heck. But, as I said, as Dark Petals had stated there, this is a maybe. This is not guaranteed this is how it's going to go down. But it is interesting. And the fact that horror and red are mentioned makes me like, ooh, is that an Easter egg? Will we see them? Ooh, are we going to get like a similar game? Maybe an aquarium, like exploring the aquarium aspect or something? I don't know. But also, if you aren't aware, when Siren stands in the aquarium one, the one I'm talking about, he's called Blue. That's what they called him. Either way, I'm really glad I got to like delve into this world. I absolutely love these sirens. I want to see more of the universe. I'm really like thirsty for this universe. It's absolutely terrible. And I do want to see like the Mias, or like more from like the others, like the arachnids, or gosh, for some reason I started thinking of the air little spider from that AU where they're like all little bugs. God's alive. Anyway, that aside, if you guys want to see more, if Siren Call, when it updates, be sure to click like on the video, 10 likes, and you guys will be guaranteed another If Siren Call video when an update drops for this one. Because, yeah, this story is far from over. That being said, let me know what your thoughts are about this. And yeah, gosh, I'm really excited. I love this universe so much. Anyway, that was so cute. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.